Hey, it's MK, and I am back with another Color Craze combination. Here's the combination that Janet and I have chosen to work with today. I am also going to be lifting a portion of this layout by Jennifer Rambert. And I do have a rainbow of selection, and I have a hard time with rainbows. So, of course, I went to some of my Cocoa Vanilla stuff, as well as a Vicky Bouton sticker book that I have that I've pulled off and put on this wax paper, along with a couple puffies from Paper House, I believe is what they're called. I have this gorgeous stripe paper by Legendary from the Cocoa Vanilla Studios, I think is what it is. Cocoa Vanilla. Is there something on the... Anyways, I have no idea. I have 4 photos that I want to put on this layout instead of just one. And I cut out only half of a butterfly. Only half, because I really do love the half of the butterfly that Jennifer used in her layout. So I'm going to try and recreate just that half of the layout. I also have a scratch piece of paper so I can pick and choose my colors without guessing on my actual layout that I want to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and select what I think is going to be the right one, plus or minus the actual blending of the watercolor. So the green, I have to blend 2 greens together. The blue I found right away. Same with the red. The pink I kind of sort of have to blend with a skin tone. And then the yellow I wasn't too sure on because I couldn't get it dark enough. And if I added the orange, it would have been too dark. Also, to say the least, my favorite yellow in there is almost gone. It's like almost an empty pot. So anyways, I did all that. And then I fast forwarded this portion so that way you guys could see it. Now this is just plain Jane. Both pieces and the butterfly are all just close to my heart, white daisy cardstock. That's all that is. And I'm not using a whole lot of water. So that is the trick with using non-mixed media papers, is you just don't use a whole lot of water. Even though it does look like I am, I'm really not. The only water that I'm really adding is in my pot to get it wet and movable. Now these are a chalk paint, and so when they dry, they're very, very chalky. They're not like a liquid watercolor at all. So I do enjoy just pulling out this, I don't know, palette, I guess is what you would call it, just to say that I use it up. Anything else, I have a hard time with the Amy Tan one that I have, only because the palette seems to be a little bit more precise on the colors, and they don't have as many colors as this chalk one does, even though it isn't really the effect that I'm going for once everything dries. It is very chalky, but it's okay. And I've said the word chalk enough times. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through each of the colors yet again and picking out the colors to splatter with, but I'm kind of doing it every other color, and I kept my heat gun on it so that way I could have it being dried at the same time as me dipping into another color, and then I don't have a brown show up because I splattered on top of a splatter, if that makes any sense. So I went ahead and I cleaned off my desk and made it all pretty, took my butterfly to my sewing machine. Now I was going to put the sewing machine on the desk and do it for you guys, and then I thought, no. My sewing machine is old. It used to be white at one point in time. It's now yellowed because of age. And yeah, it just wasn't something I was going to be proud to show you guys on camera. Anywho, I also am taking my distress tool and going around my butterfly wing so I can flip it up, bend it up, get all that good stuff going, and get it to where I can just have it curl over the stitching portion. Now I'm doing it very light so that way it does not rip at the stitch. And then I will be adhering my butterfly ever so slightly. Actually, I forgot. I did take whatever was left on my gray sponge or my black sponge, and I went over that really, really quick. I didn't even care if I did full coverage. I just kind of wanted to give it that, I don't know, grunge look, like it was ripped or something. I don't know, you guys. So I went ahead and I very lightly tacked it down onto my layout. So just in case I wanted to tuck something or I needed to do a little bit more watercolor, things like that. I just wasn't sure and I didn't want to fully commit just yet. But I also wanted to put my left side panel on so that way it doesn't look weird of, okay, so what is she going to do with the rest of the layout? The sketch or the layout that I am scrap lifting shows a whole bunch of butterflies, but I want to do more than just one photo. So I'm going to have an entire panel with my color palette on it. Well, the closest I could get to my color palette without, watercoloring the whole thing. I'm going to put my photo and call it an entire panel instead of doing all those butterflies. And I just love how this turned out, you guys. This is just more than I could have expected. And I just was like, is it gonna be weird only having half a butterfly? But now that I've got it all put together or getting all put together, I'm just like, no, I kind of like it. Like I'm proud of myself type thing. So I am putting my the photo of me and my secret sister. I'm putting our photos up on some foam, just some fun foam. And then I'm putting a block down. Thank you, Janet, for holding that down while I go off and I cut all these letters. Now these letters probably wouldn't have shown up too bad on top of the white butterfly like I planned on putting them, but I still wanted to be able to move them a little bit closer to where they're all touching each other. So I went ahead and I just trimmed out all of my alphas that are going to make my title. And then I'm going to build my clusters. So I'm going to have 3 clusters on this layout in just cute little dead spaces that are in the photos. And so the first one, I'm trying to make sure that I have one of every color kind of sort of picked out. And I did pick one little sticker that was on the pinky side just to make, Cindy and Janet happy. But yeah, it almost does not make it on the layout. Ew. Sorry about that. Gross. I just had something explode in my hands and it was gross. I'm so sorry. Where was I? So I have a metallic butterfly or a gold see-through butterfly in every cluster, along with a heart and then a puffy sticker. Now, 2 of the puffy stickers are the word bubbles that I just don't like. So I'm going to find a way to cover up that bubble part or that little pointy part that calls it a bubble. I'm going to try to figure out a way to cover that up, as well as make sure that everything in my clusters are of different color. So my next cluster goes together rather nicely, a lot better than the first cluster did. I seemed like I didn't know what I was doing in the first cluster, but to be honest, these Vicki Boutin stickers don't stick. They are uber super thin. All of these sticker book stickers are really, really thin, no matter whether they're Vicki Boutins or the other one that I have was the Canoe 9 to Canoe. Anyways, I'm not really sure. But they were thin and they didn't stick, nothing. So I was having a hard time getting them to pop up on foam. And then the first one, I just really didn't like it. And the little tiny word stickers are clear and one seemed really dirty. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't like this. So I have to come up with something else. I took it off my layout. And I'm moving on. I'm going to go ahead and put my title together, which is just So Love This. And I'm going to overlap the alphas instead of having them spaced out like they were, originally out of the package. And of course, my finger got a mess up on the butterfly. So earlier, while I was complaining about the thin stickers in the sticker books, I tried to erase it. I got most of it erased, so it's not as visible, but I do plan on doing more splatters. So I will be okay with that. So here's where I almost did not put my pink down on the layout because where I wanted it is actually going to cover up most of the butterfly. So I thought, no, I don't like that. Let's see what else I can come up with. And I found a new label that has green around it that kind of sort of matched. So I thought that I will use that. And then I figured I'm going to use this pink sticker in 2 different spots instead of 3. But now that I've put it below my photo and I'm adding this tab, it's actually making that cluster into one giant cluster instead of 2 separate clusters. So yeah, it's just ended up kind of sort of changing, but I still really like how it looks, in all honesty. And then of course I'm going to add a few more splatters because I just absolutely love a nice dark black splatter onto a page, and it covers up that smudge that I got on the butterfly beautifully. You can't even tell that it's there anymore. And that is it. This is my rainbow page that I struggled with a little bit, but I do enjoy how it turned out. I love the fact that I could just take half of a layout that I saw and recreate only half of it and then do what I want with the other half. So that was fun and something to consider the next time you see a portion of a layout that you like from someone. Just take that portion and see what you can do with it. All right. Thank you so very much. Be sure, or please, not be sure. It's okay. Check out Janet and see what she does with this color combination. I know she's going to do great things because her rainbow layouts are always amazing. And I want to thank you all for hanging out with me today and checking out what I've made. Thanks.